Bubba Shot the podcast, and that's right, a show about country at a time.
This is Bubba Shot the podcast. Gentlemen, first the facts. Check Yes or No is a song written by Danny Wells and Dana Hunt Black, and it was recorded by our man George Strait and released in September of 1995 as the lead single from his box set, Straight Out of the Box. It peaked at number 1 on both the U.S. Billboard country charts and Canadian RPM country charts. It was also included as a bonus track on the UK release version of Blue Clear Sky, not Clear Blue Sky, an album that came out in 1996. We're doing 4 weeks straight, gentlemen. As Trae alluded to before we started recording, this is the song that most people think of when they think of 90s George Strait country. I'm going to start with Tushar. Before we get into the lyrics, before we get into that, I think this is inarguably his sweetest song. Now, I realize that you, both as an Indian and as a just deathly cynical man, an outlaw, probably are not familiar with the general works of George Strait. But is this song too sweet?
Yes, absolutely. It's too sweet. And it's to its own detriment. I understand why. I knew
we'd come out with fire.
I understand what he's doing, but it felt like it was an opening to like a 90s sitcom for kids. And that's not bad. That leads to his mass appeal. I get it. But it's a little, as a grown man, you're kind of like, oh my God, what are we watching here?
Well, I'm going to let everybody comment on that. For some reason, I knew in my heart I had to come straight to you, straight out of the gate. But I guess we'll start in a little bit more of a standard way and get to these lyrics. I want to talk a little bit about the songwriters. It's a song written by two people, Dana Hunt Black, a lady from North Carolina, and I got my wrong person pulled up.
That's why it ain't good.
And Danny and Danny Wells, a man from North Carolina. I got too many pictures. Like I have like 7 pictures today. So I didn't pull up a picture of Danny, but he looks like if Guy Fieri was on Corey's diet. Like the hair's like, you know what I mean? But like he's not fat. This was his first
Beetlejuice.
hit. This was his first hit in Nashville after being there for 15 years. And he didn't have another one for 5 more years. Now, Dawn has had, in the 90s alone, had 7 songs in the top 10, but every single one of them was recorded by George Strait. I always think that's interesting.
This is probably a 5-year hit, though, like in terms of like this song was so popular that I bet you it wasn't like there could be a situation where it's not like he tried and couldn't get another one for 5 years, but he was just like, all right. And then just, would spend a lot of time at Santa's Pub in 5 years and didn't really put pen to paper as much.
Yeah, well, perhaps, and you're probably right. Although I feel like if you try for 15 years and you get one, you want another one.
Yeah, for sure.
He's also
he might have just been laying drunk that whole time. I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Well,
he could have been writing a song every day that whole time, and just a numbers game for him, or it could have just been drunker than fuck for 20 years, and 3/4 of the way through, bam, check yes or no.
Yeah. Here's my theory. He is a part of BMI, not the Body Mass Index. That's the music group. Exclusive Millionaire Club with 1 million plays on the radio. This was his first hit. He was a 2000s guy. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to show y'all his picture because when I show you his picture, you're gonna be like, yeah, that's a 2000s. This guy looks like if Mark McGrath got really into Mountain Dew.
Mark McGrath got really into Mountain Dew.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Mark McGrath was selling Mountain Dew. This guy was buying what he was selling.
Okay. This is the guy that wrote Check Yes or No you're about to show us?
Yeah.
But he was more of a 2000. So
he didn't have a hit for 5 years, and then he starts having hits with Rascal Flatts, Craig Moore, all these 2000 artists. And I'm saying
the way you're describing him sounds Rascal. Like the lead singer of Rascal Flatts also to me looks like if Guy Fieri sold Mountain Dew and was on my diet.
Right. For some reason, I have to toggle in between the two, so I apologize, y'all.
That's okay. Did Rascal Flatts have anything in the 90s, or were they straight 2000s?
I mean, in my recollection, they were straight 2000. Like they're Rascal Flatts is like
as 2000s as it gets.
2000s,
yeah, for sure.
Like
I called a T-shirt.
2000 and late. You know what I'm saying?
I called a T-shirt out of a T-shirt cannon at one of their concerts.
I took a girl to a Rascal Flatts show, and their entire encore was Beatles songs. Like they didn't play any of their songs for that. They played nothing but Beatles songs for their encore. And buddy, you talk about pissing my daddy off.
When your dad was there?
When I told him
when
about it because I knew it would piss him off.
Yeah, right.
He was irate, dude.
You know, it's funny. Like I could see people going either way on that, where it's like, oh man, how dare they desecrate the name of the Beatles?
That was definitely his
right.
stance.
But then there's my other part that I'd be like, oh, that's cool that they're, playing the Beatles. Like that's nice for them to introduce that to their fans, and they clearly like them. But yeah, your daddy strikes me as the former, obviously.
Yes.
I get being mad totally, but I think the Beatles are so ubiquitous and such a part of just
it's
culture.
like, come on. Yeah.
Well, to me, it's like if a comic gets accused of going after Rogan or Chappelle by making a joke about what they've done, and it's like, dude, this is pop culture. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, the Beatles are the same as joking about Mickey Mouse. Like, whatever.
There he is.
Oh, yeah, man. Dude, he kind of looks like there's somebody else he looks like, too. And it's a woman.
I agree.
She was a janitor at my middle school.
Oh, never mind.
Yes, he does look like a woman who's a janitor, for sure.
That's funny. That's hilarious. If you told me that was a picture of the female janitor from your high school, I would have been like, oh, all right, I could see it.
But there is somebody else.
Maybe he just got one of them faces, because I thought the same thing when he popped up. I was like, he looks like somebody, but
Danny Bonaducci, maybe.
Yeah, somebody.
Danny Bonaducci is one of those names that's so great for a joke because of how it sounds.
Sounds racist.
I don't think I know who he is.
Partridge
I think
family.
People just say Danny Bonaducci, and I'm like, yep, I get it.
Redhead from the Partridge family. But yeah, if somebody was
Italians.
Yeah, but if somebody was.
He was a child star, and then grew up and lost his mind, and on account of being a child star and everything, and he's like redheaded and wild and shit, and he had public breakdowns and drug addictions and all that stuff. I don't know how he's doing now, but he was like one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the tragic
redheaded
tale of
Italians.
Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah.
I know stereotypes are wrong, but redheaded Italians, I mean, come on. That's got to be.
I never thought about him that way, but I didn't know those existed.
Yeah, me either.
Well, when I did that DNA
somebody's
thing,
got to fuck the Irish.
I'm mainly German, but Italian's my second one. I think it's just because your last name can be Bonaducci, but that's just because one person in your lineage had that name.
Fucked their way in. One Italian generations ago.
Bonaducci.
Yeah, Bonaducci. Even though
it's a Bonaducci. That's what it's called when you fuck a redhead, actually.
Yeah. Oh, he pulled a Bonaducci. Yeah.
It's not even a last name. It was like a scarlet letter, and then it just became a last name. All right, here we go. Let's do some lyrics. Let's move on from that and get into this very sweet George Strait song. It started way back in 3rd grade. I used to sit beside Emmylou Hayes. A pink dress, a matching bow, and her ponytail. She kissed me on the school bus, but told me not to tell. Next day, I chased her around the playground, across the monkey bars to the merry-go-round. And Emmylou got caught passing me a note, and before the teacher took it, I read what she wrote. Do you love me? Do you want to be my friend? And if you do, well, then don't be afraid to take me by the hand. If you want to, I think this is how love goes. Check yes or no. Tushar, come on, butterflies?
I mean, all right. This.
What kind of notes did you get in 3rd grade in Alabama?
That's when I
go back to where you come from.
Thanks, Emmylou. I'm always surprised at how quickly, when growing up, especially how quickly the American public would fuck in general.
Without their parents making them?
Yeah, without their parents making them or sending it up in their mid-20s.
What?
Just the how quickly
you get girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah, boyfriend, girlfriends. It happens very quickly. This guy's 8, right?
So no, actually, 8. I'm glad you said that because I never thought I wanted to bring that up. I want to ask y'all about the choice of third grade because, like, first of all, I have a third grader and a fourth grader right now. But also thinking back to when I was a kid, and I was a fat kid, it wasn't happening for me. No way. I wasn't getting no hitting notes either. Tushar. Fat kids don't get notes. They get the yellow starburst that the cool kids don't want to eat. Because they think those are.
We
gross.
got notes. We got notes to pass it back.
Yeah,
further.
pass that on to someone who hits. Right. Yeah, give that to somebody.
Wipe
who
your
hits,
hands before I hand you this note. But
yeah, try not to get chocolate on it. You fat piece of
orange.
shit. Anyway, so. Fair enough. Having said that, but my two sons are not fat. And all I'm saying is I don't remember being at all into the stage of having crushes or being into girls or whatever by third grade yet. And my two boys are both like, they're both still very much like girls are gross type thing. Like that kissing is gross. Like they're not remotely on that level yet. And I know every kid's different or whatever, but I never thought anything about that lyric in this song, but now it's relevant to my life. So I'm thinking about it. And it's was that y'all's experience? Were you already doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that would be more.
I went on my first date in kindergarten. Asked a girl on a date.
Yeah, we were getting them notes. Sorry, boys.
Yeah.
We were getting dared. You don't remember, like, I got like a girl would have a crush on me, start passing notes. She'd become my girlfriend, and then the class would dare us to kiss when the teacher left the room. Yeah. Now that probably didn't start happening until fifth grade, but like, we have built to that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, the boys just they have no interest in anything like that. So like any kind of romance or anything like that is like gross to them.
So my niece is in third grade. She has like a different boy that she says likes her every week. And it's very dramatic. Like, it's very much like, and Gentry said that he didn't really like me, but then I talked to Silas, and Silas was like, I do like you. And so I told Gentry, you're not my friend anymore. And like, she's got a whole world of characters that are involved in her love life. So that might be a very American thing. And if it is, I think she gets it from TV and TikTok.
Yeah, movies and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know. It also is possible that maybe mine just don't tell me or Katie about any of that type of stuff that happens because they feel weird about that part of it or whatever. But it just doesn't seem to be a thing. And I don't remember it being a thing at that point either. But again, it's different for me and Tushar.
You didn't. Y'all didn't hit.
We just didn't.
I feel like guys develop so much later. Like girls develop, like those feelings come online way earlier.
I've always been pretty involved though, so I guess it's different for me.
Yeah, Corey definitely got his period in third grade.
Yeah, I matured early.
Is that what you mean, like development like that, or just like?
Well, I thought that like
having their brains think about love.
Girls definitely get
puberty was like when all that was like really came online. I thought, which definitely is not third grade.
But I think like princess stories and then how that transmutes into like being in a relationship. Like girls play house. They talk about having husbands and, at a younger age. I think some of this is very cultural for sure.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm agreeing with what Tushar's saying, but I don't think it's just like related to physiology. I think that culture tells little girls about the love story. And
that's true.
Definitely.
Because now that I'm thinking back on it, so much of it, like it happened in our church too. And it wasn't like there was no kissing and it wasn't any like physical attraction. It just seemed like the girl's like, I need a husband. That's what you're supposed to do. Like we should, you know what I mean? Like
otherwise we won't be allowed to have sex.
Yeah, exactly. And like I'll be worthless because otherwise I'm just an old maid woman that's worthless. Like I gotta get a guy.
Yeah, that's why like that.
Yeah.
Like that ought not be.
Of course that ought not be. And it's funny that even though these girls thought to themselves, I need a man more than anything, they still did not want you or Tushar.
Not even remotely.
For completely different reasons.
Yeah. Well, before we open up Fat Kid
one
ones,
overlapping
let's get into
reason.
this video. Yeah, overlapped your pants.
Belt line, yes.
Let's get into this video because there's so many things I want to talk about with this video and kind of touching on some of it. So it starts in a classroom, and the video, this is one of the most direct to the song videos we've seen.
Yeah.
Like there is almost no separation. It is just as if someone went out and shot this line by line. So in the beginning, they're in a classroom. Someone gets passed a note. I'm going to go ahead and read the second verse, and then we're going to get into that part of the video. Now, we went from third grade. This is the second verse. I did not skip a verse. Third grade was the first verse. Second verse. Now we're grown up and she's my wife. Still like 2 kids with stars in our eyes. Ain't much changed. I still chase Emmy Lou up and down the hall, around the bed in our room. Now that's scandalous for George Strait.
Yeah.
Last night I took her out in a white limousine.
White limo.
20 years together, she still gets to me. 20 years of Tushar doing that joke, it still gets to me.
Me too.
Can't believe it's been that long ago when we got started with just one little note. And then, of course, we repeat the chorus twice, and then we check yes or no 4 times in a row on the way out. That's the whole song.
Here's my first problem immediately is that, and you've brought this up a lot, how there's a ton of 2-verse songs in country, and I don't like that either. And in this song specifically, what immediately loses points with me, because I do like this song, is like there definitely should be a second verse where they're in high school or college and maybe they don't hit for each other.
Ring, dog.
Yeah, or something. Like there needs to be like he had to punch somebody or she started dating a quarterback and then he has to win her back. Like this is just like everything's been good for us the whole time. Do. Like,
well, it's that like saccharine 90s sitcom sweetness thing. You know what I mean? Like what you just said wouldn't work in that with that tone, which is like the whole tone of this song. You know what I mean? It's
that's
like
true.
Pure
but I mean,
sweetness. There's no like drama
heartbreak
or anything.
Well, either way, though, there still could be another purely sweet verse about the middle portion of their life. You know what I mean? Like even if you're staying in the same tone, it could be like, yeah, she was a cheerleader. I was the quarterback. Although the casting in this, that boy was no goddamn quarterback. Dude, I can't believe, dude. I cannot fucking believe
what the casting
about these crackers in this video.
I was sitting here thinking, I honestly respect George Strait more after this video because I'm telling you right now, I know me as a person. If the casting director had come to me and been like, and this is who we've got playing you, I'd be like, fucking next, get that little bitch the fuck out of here.
Right. Well, this dude is a singer, okay? So, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it. He is an actor, a singer, songwriter named Michael Ray Ryan. I did not look into his background. There's a reason why. You're going to find out in a minute. I got distracted.
He don't hit.
But I agree with y'all. I did wonder if he was like on the label. You know, he'd been opening for George that year or whatever, trying to give a man in glasses a break. He looks like fucking Bubbles. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's not good. That ain't it. That just ain't it, is it? Now, part of the reason I did this screenshot, doesn't this look like a Cinemax softcore porn?
Yeah.
Like that's what they're watching?
No, that's what we're watching right now.
Dude, he looks like I don't know. He looks like a guy that would be committing a hate crime in a 50s movie or something.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that like there was a 50s type of white. It was just real white.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's like the neighbor who calls in the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe on the defensive line, but not on my offense.
And
you know,
he's
like
got that whole thing going on.
The only way this guy could be even remotely anything other than just like the least plain, boring, vanilla guy, I could see him in a movie being Kaiser Soze. Like this dude's playing just the dweebiest, most unappealing, least scary guy, and then in the last 15 minutes you find out he's the mastermind behind it all.
Yeah, I mean, he could be like a Riddler type motherfucker, which is like the reason that they end up doing that is because they're such a nerdy dweeb their whole fucking life that they're living on the fringe.
Oh, this dude was bullied.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a little bit Quagmire too, a little giggity in his face.
His face right there is a little giggity for sure. You're right. He like the dude. Somebody had to. This dude is connected somehow to the George Strait universe. I think. I don't think this guy just got cast.
He's a singer-songwriter.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that
somebody asked him, "Hey, buddy, you want to play this in my video or what?" Like, it's got to be something like that because I just don't. Otherwise, why would they pick this dude? For like I don't know, rom-com male lead, you know,
to be young George
Strait.
Now,
be fair, rom-com.
Well, see, I don't know.
It's not young George Strait. Yeah,
and I think maybe that's on purpose. It's like he's intentionally.
We want it to look like everybody,
right? That he's like making a point. This song isn't about me and my wife. You know, like
I hit.
Right.
Now, it was a big critique of 90s and early 2000s sitcoms that they would have a schlubby, often stand-up comic guy. and then they would put him with a woman that was clearly out of his league. So perhaps this was just part of that. But I think that his connection as a singer-songwriter to someone at the label or whatever is what happened here. Now, this is the lady. Now, her name is Dawn Wagner.
Yeah, it's whatever.
You see her here, and then you saw her in the limo. They had her in a little mom-looking dress. This is a very sweet, saccharine thing. Dawn Wagner was the founder of, I want to make sure I'm going to say it right. What was it called? The Texas Bikini Open.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Here is Dawn.
Show me. Yeah, boys.
Okay.
That's what. Yeah. Absolutely. Check.
Now,
yes.
I didn't just bring this up to give us some eye candy, although sure that was part of it. I think it's genuinely hilarious that casting in Nashville is like, I don't know, shrewd enough to be like, if we're gonna make a music video, we got to get this chick with flowers on her titties. I mean, come on. This is a music video. It's all about the visual. But then when they go to make the video, it's still country music and it's George Strait. They make her look like this.
Oh, what are you saying, that she can only play Tits Out McGee, Drew? You don't think she has range?
I'm saying that you can you don't have to go recruit the founder of the Texas Bikini Open if you're not going to use her.
I bet she was
let the bull run, son.
I'd say that
they out on the street, not the garage.
I'd say that they didn't have to go get her neither. She was probably just already like in the circle of people. You know what I mean? Like the dudes in the country music world are like, hey, I wonder what Dawn's doing. You know what I mean? I bet they were buddies. You know?
Drew wants Dawn to pull her titties out in the check yes or no video. He's like, why is there no sex scene? What are they doing?
Get it. I mean,
I don't get it.
Come on. Hey, I don't understand.
You're going to get a one-trick whore for a video. God damn it. Let her do the trick. You know what I mean? That's Drew. I'm quoting Drew. That's not me.
No.
Sure, man.
So, I want to, thinking back on my fat not hitting youth, I want to clarify something with the two of you that did hit. So
hold on now. I did not hit. Okay. I just hit harder than you did.
You had dates in kindergarten.
So,
okay,
but listen.
But like
she checked no.
Are we in agreement that culturally, and it's been in movies and stuff, like it's a phase for boys rule, girls drool.
Yeah.
He-Man Woman Haters Club, whatever that was from. Like that, like little boys hating girls, and then at a certain point in their life, suddenly girls are the only thing that matters, you know, when their balls drop or whatever.
That's a thing, of course.
We're agreeing that is a thing.
Yes,
right?
and I didn't
and are y'all saying that thing that had already happened by third grade?
I'm telling you, it never happened.
I was saying earlier. Is like,
I never subscribed to it, which
walking contradictions. You know,
so
my boys.
You're saying it was both?
No, not me.
Like, I was like, yeah, girls suck, and then I was like, my face later. You know what I mean? Like,
I never subscribed to that, which I think is why I got so much pussy in elementary school. You know what I mean? Okay. It was like just me.
All right. Okay.
And I was in more of a that policy, that makes sense for y'all, but I'm operating under a different MO over here.
Yeah, of course, girls
really
drool.
Cute and good at sports. Like I was very popular in elementary school.
Yeah, I'd feel that way too if I didn't hit. You know what
That's
I mean?
what I was like, yeah, man.
I didn't invent that. I didn't come.
You didn't. No, you didn't. But somebody like you did. Somebody fat dumb and don't hit did.
Fat dumb don't hit invention.
Yeah, goddamn alfalfa. There's a reason that little fucking motherfucker.
Some of them rascals was pretty cool. Like,
yeah, Spanky hit.
Hell yeah, they did. Spanky,
right.
man.
I'm saying like. This is like Hollywood movie shit we're talking about here.
Yeah,
maybe it's fat, dumb, and don't hit all the way down when it comes to this. I'm just saying, like, I don't remember any of my friends like caring at all about girls and shit until like middle school, like puberty age. And that's true.
I think I cared.
Even
about
my friends
attention.
who hit. Do what?
I think I cared
about attention.
Like I got a note. And
me too.
Brian got a note, and that was pretty much it. It was like, all right, well, girls suck, but this note rules. Like,
yeah,
you know
I mean, if a little boy had been into me and the church hadn't told me otherwise, I'd probably went that way too. It was just the attention. I agree with you, Drew. That's a good point.
Okay.
I think boys surely go through a little like incel phase, like a natural girls are gross, they're the enemy type of thing. So that's what I know that. But even this song, the first verse, the first verse is they seem to just be chilling, and then she kissed him and then said, "Don't tell anyone." She's the aggressor, clearly.
Yeah.
Check no means no.
So
you're right. That's also a big thing too. Like I remember, not me, but I remember some of my friends, and this plays into what you're talking about, Trae. It's definitely backs it up. It's definitely true. I remember some of my friends it being like, oh, Austin kissed a girl. No, I didn't. Right. And I was like, I saw him. Yeah. But like, I'm not gonna rattle my boy, but like, what is happening here?
I mean, that song was a taunt that, Justin and Jessica sitting in a tree.
Oh, you're right.
KIS it. Like that wasn't them. That wasn't people going, this is cool that you did that. They were going like, what a little freak. Look at them. And because you'd always be like, oh no, we were not. Oh,
right.
Okay. It really is a very little freak. That song is very much like little freaks.
Of course, I agree. I know what you're talking about. I'm an outlier,
like
dude.
I was fucking I was like, damn, was it just that I was a fat dipshit? Like, am I the only one who feels this way about any of this shit? But y'all are making me feel better now. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I'm an outlier.
Feeling crazy over here. Speaking of which, listen, I'm about to have to get off here in a minute because I had a meeting get moved on me, so I'm going to have to go, unfortunately. This is just, you already said it up top, the quintessential George Strait 90s country song, in my opinion. It's like, I don't know if it's literally his biggest hit or what, numbers wise, but it's like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of George Strait in the 90s is this song. So, yeah, y'all keep having fun with keep ragging on these crackers here.
And I will say, when we get into next week, we will get into the slightly darker side of George Strait. I don't think George is only this, and we're going to get into it next week. But appreciate you, Trae. See you later.
See y'all there.
All right. Let me share a screen to make the video look better. Actually, here's what I want to share. Here is a screenshot from this video.
I'm glad that you're doing this.
And here is a screenshot.
Yeah. From last week's.
Yes.
The theory that it's all of one big jib jab is like, I'm telling you.
Where is it?
I don't think George Strait was even there for either of the shoots. I think they've Adobe'd his head into stuff.
They did something like, look at that.
Yeah, something's off. I'm telling you, like it's a cardboard one. It's a cardboard cutout, or like they've just like George, he put all them balls on him and did that stop motion thing and was just like, look, y'all just do the videos, but I ain't gonna be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like something's up. He does not look real.
No, well, and he don't look real anyway. Do you think he might have got work done?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm certain that as of right now in 2022, the man has had work done just because he's a high-profile celebrity. Like, they just kind of all do. But, like, it's possible that at that time, he was feeling the pressures of, like, oh, I hit in the 80s, and now there's all these fresh-faced stars coming in. I got to make my smile lines even up or what. It wouldn't surprise me. That's a thing.
Drew, you're muted.
It could just be bad makeup. That's a thing.
It could be bad makeup for sure. Because, like, what people don't understand about makeup is that it is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Everybody has their tone, and there's some shades that, depending on the makeup company, just don't kind of jive with the pH balance of your skin. It's a big
this is makeup
deal.
Right here, and you can see it real bad. Like,
I thought that was a Band-Aid.
It is. I was just being stupid.
Oh, okay, dude. I genuinely, you're in a very tiny screen for me, and I was like, okay, my man just has bad makeup on. What'd you do? Basketball?
No, I probably have. Not really. Probably. I might have cancer.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's move on. Bubba Shots podcast. Let's get back to the story a little bit. Now we've blown through these lyrics because I wanted to get to the music video, but let's go back to. I guess it was Corey's point generally. I mean, this is such a far-reaching story. We've gone from third grade to taking around in a white limousine, and you feel like they've been together a little while, right? But then you think about it. I guess they're 28, right? If they were 8.
Oh, yeah, that's true. yeah, at this time they definitely at least had an 8-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the beginning and the not end, but like where we are now portion of a 20-year story and nothing in the middle. We've already talked about that, but it's almost too much. This really is a song that's popular because the hook and the melody were so undeniable.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's fun to hear. Like when I listened to it, I babysat my niece, and so I listened to this song like 2 or 3 times on my way back home from there just to refamiliarize myself with it. And it's one of those that now when you're throwing out the lyrics, I'm just like my rating goes down a little bit, but at the same time I'm just like, but I really like it. Like I like hearing it when it comes on in the car. Like it's got, like you said, it's got an undeniable melody and it's clever. It also invokes, for me, obviously not Trae and Tushar, but for me, it invokes very real memories, So there's something to that.
Of course, we need Trae. Is it invoke or evoke?
Probably evoke.
I think
you invoke
something like a Third Amendment.
Fifth.
You invoke the Fifth. It evokes. Yeah, this one, evoke and invoke to me are the accept and accept. I know now, but there's effect and effect. I have problems with that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Effect is a noun. Effect is a verb.
Noun and verb. You know what I mean? I sometimes with those.
They can be confusing. Like beer me that beer.
Exactly.
Tushar, do we have any, I mean, is it a stretch here? I know that, is there a song about writing to somebody's parent, like one mother to another mother? Check yes or no. Will you accept my son?
It's like a dowry form.
Yeah. Do you want all these goats? Check yes or no.
Are you down for the terms of this engagement, this contract? An Indian thing is more culture. The lawyers are talking.
Are you going to wear an insane pink and yellow dress? Check yes or no.
I can't think of the Indian equivalent, but I will say, going back to the earlier point, she's the aggressor the whole way through. She kissed him, and then she's the one who passes this note. And the funny thing about the note is like, do you love me or do you want to be my friend? It's almost like, they're 8 years old, and she's like, are we bullshitting or not? What are we doing? Like,
they're divorced now. Yeah, they're divorced now, for the record.
Of course.
I mean, and it doesn't always happen that way, but like you see it all the time in the South because like there is that, Drew brought it up earlier. There is that like Christian culture of like, hey, you can't have sex until you get married. And of course, everybody biologically wants to have sex. So you end up having these people who got together in high school and they end up getting married right out of high school just because they want a bone. And then you realize
to justify the boning they've been doing.
Right. Or they got pregnant and it's a shotgun thing. But then they realize
not even pregnant, dude. It's like deeper than that. It's
you're right. Yeah.
You took my virginity. You have to be my husband.
Because if not, I can't marry you. My number
I'll get all scarlet lettered.
But I mean, it's real. And then I think like it doesn't take that long for them to realize, oh my God, the only thing we had in common was we wanted to fuck each other. I mean, there's so much about the world we don't know. So I'm saying if there was a song written about this same couple today, they're divorced.
I mean,
I bet you that's who he gave it away to. There you go. That's what it is.
What do you mean?
Give it away. There ain't nothing in this house worth fighting over. Yeah. That's who. Yeah. That's this. This is the same universe.
I was about to say Toby Keith definitely wrote some of those songs, but you're right. George has a couple. George definitely has a couple. Yeah, when you're 17, and all you have in common is that you're 17. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like an Evanescence ain't gonna keep a relationship together.
Although year,
it would be really sweet if it did.
It's funny. There was a girl in high school that me and her used to duet that Evanescence song at karaoke. She would do the girl, and we fucking nailed it. And that could have got us through a year.
Where was karaoke?
There's a place called God damn it, it was the something, and it's also the place I saw Candlebox and fingered my first butt. I can't remember what it's called though.
That's a Gypsy Speedboat song. Saw Candlebox and fingered my first butt. It was released in 1974.
Joe Dogs.
Wait. Do we have a rap version of this? I don't think we do.
I don't think so. I was trying to look. Yeah. There's nothing this sweet in rap.
No, I mean, yeah, and this is no offense at all. Rap goes way too hard for this bullshit.
Maybe
rap doesn't ask a lot of questions.
There may be a R&B song that it does this, maybe, but I just like most country songs, at least the ones that you guys have, we've done on the show, look back at hard times almost nostalgically. She left or something, whatever, something happened, and I'm looking back at it, and
we
now
were poor. Mama made me a whore, man.
All of them. This is like, man, this was great. Jenny and Forrest hit it off, and he wasn't retarded, and she didn't get AIDS. This is the story. it's like boring Forrest Gump.
Hey, I know the song. I've got the rap song. It's "My Main Bitch" by DJ Mustard.
DJ Mustard coming through in the clutch.
Yeah, my main bitch.
Tushar, I don't know if we've got into this with you, but it's worth bringing up. You may be aware of it, you may not. I am interested to hear your response. You said that about R&B. I don't know if we've ever told you, but R&B and country were quite literally made by the same people as recently as like the 70s. What happened was hillbilly music and black music was made in the same places, basically by the same people. And the record companies decided, perhaps correctly, I don't know, that black people wouldn't buy white music and white people wouldn't buy black music. So they separated them. Well, it's bullshit now. It might have been true in the 50s. I don't think it was either in the 40s. So they separated them. Like, and the same artists and musicians were making the same music, and then they would just put it out by different artists from the same record company and sell it to two different groups with a different front man. Now, that's obviously evolved and changed in various ways, but one way that it hasn't is there are many songs that R&B people released in the 90s and a country singer released in the 90s.
Right back
basically
to back.
At the same time.
Yeah.
John Michael Montgomery and All for One.
In Sync.
Had I Swear at the same time.
In Sync and Alabama had one at the same time. God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You, I think, was the one. That is like In Sync. Yeah, like that was like
Brian McKnight wrote his own R&B songs, or he and his producer did. He was kind of like a real R&B artist, and then sold some to country stars.
Yeah, there was like some Boys to Men that I know some fucking country dudes are saying. And for the record, those are situations, because the reason I know is both versions would be played at our middle school dances, and both versions usually hit for all of us regardless. And it was, right.
It hit for poor white kids. And
we were like, I can't believe these black people are stealing our shit.
Our parents, what I was about to say, our parents, not that, but our parents would be like, oh man, they did a new version of that song. And I'd be like, this is the old version, Dad.
Come
Get
on.
out of my room.
You smell like coal. Yeah, I don't know why, but that was, there was always that, I don't know. You know how racism just be?
Yeah.
There was just
and capitalism just is like, well, clearly we can do nothing to change this. I guess we'll make $1 off of it.
Yeah, I do remember, and it wasn't like maybe people were mad, but I do remember it was always like anytime like you'd hear an R&B song, they're like, Alabama did this. Alabama did this. Alabama. Mm-hmm. We're like, okay, well, it's them now. I think they're
with Brian McKnight. If I'm not mistaken, it was like, no, he literally wrote this song.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the type of artist Brian McKnight was. And, he was just like, yeah, I'll sell it to these white people.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Otherwise.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I do. So why was this song so big? Was it because of its purity? Or is it just because George Strait hits and it's one of his hits?
I mean, and listen, at this point,
it's
George
one of his
Strait,
biggest hits, so it can't just be that it's George.
Was it early in his catalog or like later on?
No. I mean, dude, first off, what Drew said is true. Like, George Strait pretty much at this point in his career could do no wrong, and there could be a song that, like, if somebody else put it out, it might not hit, but if George does, it's going to. But, like, it's catchy as fuck, Like, it's catchy and like
me. Well, actually, let's get into that.
Everybody wants to believe this is them too.
Does George Strait have any like actually challenging songs?
Yeah.
Or are they all kind of?
I could still make Cheyenne is very challenging in my opinion.
Now we are in the era right now of him not doing that and making millions of dollars. Next week, and let's prime it. Let's get everybody excited. We're going to do Cheyenne, and Cheyenne's a little darker and a lot sadder, and it's a real song with a real story to tell. And Corey and Trae think it's his greatest song ever. Now,
Without
I
question.
am very much in the camp that it's Amarillo by Morning, which thematically
also
is
a great
kind
song.
of the same as Cheyenne.
They're similar.
Garth Brooks agrees with me. I just want to throw that out there. He said it live at his concert.
Garth Brooks don't hit for you.
Garth Brooks hits for me super hard.
He don't hit for
Tushar.
you.
When we saw Garth live, he said, "I'm going to play the best George Strait song of all time," and then he played Amarillo by Morning. We can't do it on this podcast, Tushar, because it came out in '88. My point is, early George Strait had a lot of sad cowboy songs.
Yes,
and
he's
in the '90s we saw him shift
next week.
into basically gets back to the thing about being the king. He shifted into what was the most pop form of pop country at that time, while Garth was ushering in a new version of pop country at that time. It's just I don't know. It's an interesting thing. Did he get older? Did he stop caring? Or did his fans just react better? Like, I bet his B-sides on these albums had some darkness to him. I just think people didn't like him as much.
Mm-hmm. So is it like, I view it as almost like he's like Disney-fied.
Yes.
Or something. Like, okay, so that's understood that he was like, he's making, $400,000 a show, so let's keep that thing cooking with kids and, make it a whole family event.
And it was good. I think Disney's the perfect analogy where it's like, yeah, he's doing what you're saying and he's doing it really well. Mm-hmm. And you're about to get into, that early Disney, Tushar, them early Disneys.
Yeah.
We're about to get into that next week.
Some fucked up shit. Is that Crow racist?
Shit.
Yeah. Like,
now, I want to get into some. I want to go back to the lyrics real quick, and then we can wrap it up and vote and all that. You were talking about how catchy it is. Why was this so popular? I have a theory, too, about the catchiness. The melody's obviously great, so there's musical reasons. But I think there are lyrical reasons. Now, the story itself, as we said, is too sweet for us. But first of all, a lot of people love that. A lot of women, a lot of men, they just want to look at life and go, yeah, that's how it is. Isn't it nice? And songs are an escape of, their actual horrible marriage or whatever the situation is. Or, you are in love and you're 20 and you think that's going to be us in 8 years, not knowing that you're both going to get fat and unhappy. That aside, this chorus, do you love me? Do you want to be my friend? And if you do, well, then don't be afraid to take me by the hand if you want to. That is an AABC rhyme scheme. And then you end it with, I think this is how love goes, check yes or no, which is DD in that one. Like, you got to completely new it. That is, I don't know enough about iambic pentameter to say that that's Shakespearean, but I'm pretty sure that if we had a poetry teacher on here to break that down, that is pretty classic use of syllables and rhyme scheme right there. That just like tickles the fucking brains of at least Western civilization.
I was going to bring up what this song lacks in like dynamic lyrics. It more than makes up for in dynamic rhyme scheme. It takes pretty simple words, but like you said, it carries them like this instead of like this. It's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to take me. Like, you don't see that a lot. It's usually A, B, A, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Tushar doesn't care about anything.
He doesn't. I don't give a fuck.
Fantastic.
It's like, Tushar's like, why does this work? I'm like, well, here's why. It's actually kind of Shakespearean. And he's like,
yeah.
All right, look,
Shakespeare don't hit.
He's like, I've gotten over being impressed by the fact that you hillbillies know how to read like 4 episodes ago. I need more than that. Oh, we get it. You guys like the Bible. Well,
I equate George Strait to? I equate him to like the Nick Saban of country music or something.
Okay.
I mean,
like he's the guy. He's undeniable. He's everyone's guy, and he has been for a very long time.
That's pretty good.
The only thing I'll say
is better.
Me too, because the only thing I'll say is that like there's a large group of people who despise and can't stand Nick Saban, and I don't see that with George Strait. You know what I mean?
Nick Saban is Garth and George Strait. Like, he is undeniable. Like,
yeah,
George Strait's undeniable, but you can definitely argue that people are better or more popular or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's questions there with Nick Saban. Like, that's the thing about sports, though. It kind of.
That's why you can't be canceled.
Be a little bit more objective.
Yeah. It's like yeah, you won, so he's better. That's like,
especially if he keeps doing it and he stay doing
it. Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
we're
dude,
gonna
he's
vote.
not
This
done.
was a short episode. It's I think it's obvious. We're probably about to vote it pretty low down. Maybe not. Excuse me. That we weren't as, I don't know, turned on by this this particular song as a group. I think that's fine because I'm telling
It's
you,
still
folks,
great.
if you like Bubba Shot the podcast, tune in next week. We are going to have a fucking argument, and the song itself is so fucking good.
And
the story's good, and I can't wait for Tushar to hear it.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to tell you, you're going to hear a good argument, but you're also just going to straight up hear me gush, because it's not just it's not my favorite George Strait song. It's like it could be on my Mount Rushmore of just like all country in general, and I'm including fucking George Jones and shit. I love that fucking song. But anyways, that's not about.
I don't even think it's his best one. That's what kind of podcast you're getting next week.
Yeah.
All right, Tushar, get excited. Crowd listening, get excited. Bubba Shot the podcast next week. Let's rate this. Check yes or no. George Strait's 1995, I think we said, hit that stars a bikini model in the video, as well as a guy who looks like he's going to murder George Strait. What's your rating?
I want to do
first.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go first. I think I'm gonna give this lower than I thought I would. I'm gonna give it a 2 Earnhardts.
That's probably
because it is just too happy. It's like love at first sight power. It's too much. There's no conflict in this thing. No and then conflict. if you listen to this thing with his his perfect teeth and his glamour shot hat, like it's a little.
I brought this. You just reminded me. I made this the picture because I've got all these other ones where he looks a little better. There's pain in these eyes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
But where is it in the song, buddy?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, we'll hear it next week. And also, before I let Corey vote, I just reminded this. In this video, he plays guitar, and I see him making a D and a G shape.
Yeah, instead of just holding it and.
Yeah. So he at least knows how to pretend.
Yeah, right, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Hell, I know how to pretend.
You can make a D and a G shape?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you can play. Go ahead.
I can a little bit. I just, So here's what I'm going to do with my rating. In order to get to my true rating, I'm going to go through what is my audience score and what is my Rotten Tomatoes score, and I'm going to combine those to give the actual answer, because I'm conflicted on this song. Because my audience score, how it actually just makes me feel when I'm driving down the road, and what I want to say is 2 2/3. You know what I mean? Because I just love it. It puts me in a good mood. But then when I sit here and think about it critically, and I listen to the lyrics, what my Rotten Tomatoes score is a 2. Therefore, I'm going to combine those together, and I'm going to give it 2 1/3 Earnhardt.
All right. I have a similar situation, but instead of how it makes me feel driving down the road, I'm going to say how it makes clearly most people who like country music feel driving down the road. This is his biggest hit, I think, or at least his biggest hit in the 90s. I could be wrong on that, but it seems like it was. It was definitely all over CMT and the radio. I think this song is a 3 to most people who like country music, but it is a 2 to me. So I have to, and since we're sticking with thirds, I can't go 2.5. I got to decide if the audience is right, and this probably gets just at the core of my being when it comes to art. No, fuck them. This is 2 1/3. 2 1/3 all the way.
There you go. See, we butt.
Trae gave it 2 2/3.
He gave it 2 2/3. Now, I think if he'd have stuck around for the whole episode, he would have ended up being like, yeah, you're right. But he gave it 2 2/3 because he said it was a big part of his job.
He changed his mind one time, and he brought it up every episode for 3 straight episodes of how he was ready.
Yeah. But, and like, I had to give it that because I know exactly what I'm going to do next week. Like, you don't even have to ask me next week. Everybody knows how I'm going to fucking rate that song. So because of that, I have to go, where is this in relation to that? And it's 2 1/3. But by the way, for the record, I fucking still love this song. We're probably going to end up having a situation where I rate a song 1 1/3 Earnhardts, but still I'm like, however, I fucking bumped that shit. You know what I mean?
I have no plans of doing this podcast long enough to get to a 1 1/3 Earnhardt song, unless it just happens to be some song that one of us just hates, but it is undeniably popular.
All I'm saying is that I don't hate this song, but now that we're kind of refining our palette, and if I'm looking at it from a lyrical standpoint, I have to give this a 2. You know, like in that world, I guarantee you there's going to be some songs that I genuinely do love having on and listening to. But when I'm really honest with myself, I can go, yes, but that's not really a good song.
But now I'm thinking about the poetry of it, and I'm leaning the other way. Like, it's the contrary to me. But you just said when I look at the lyrics of it, and I thought, well, when I look at the lyrics of it, I can't help but notice
if there was 3 verses,
perfect poetry.
Yeah, but
there's also
this one really suffers from not having a 3rd verse. Some don't, but this one really suffers from not having a 3rd verse, in my opinion.
And this one's now like
maybe. Check yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, it's like hyper nostalgic, because I would imagine no one in school passes notes anymore, even 3rd graders. Like,
I bet they do. Because you're not allowed to text in school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you can't.
Our people can read and write. Every generation. Even the new ones. When will you stop with this? We have been able to since like 1940 something. All right?
I'm just imagining a little kid opening up a note that he got in school, and it's just a fucking swastika written on it nowadays. Like, that's just one.
It's like a QR code that leads to a swastika.
Yeah,
real evolved.
Yeah.
All right. So this is
weird ending to this one.
It got weird, and I'm not sure what happened.
Kids love Nazis now.
I don't think that's true. We'll see.
Do you love Nazis? Yes or no?
Bubba Shout the podcast, and that's right. A show about country at its height. Don't expect no shit from